Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. Today is a different kind of reading vlog, and it's one that started as a reading vlog. That was the idea behind this, but I think over time it basically devolved into kind of just mini reviews in different settings. Like every couple of weeks I would just sit down and give you some mini reviews. So basically the idea behind this video was for me to actually tell you guys about all the random little Kindle Unlimited smutty things that I read just as sort of like little interstitials. Like, you know, maybe I've been reading for the evening, it's like 9 o'clock, start winding down, take my shower, get into bed, and I just want like an hour's worth of a book. I will often turn to 100-page Kindle Unlimited little smutty contemporary romance. Now, when I say smut, I want you to know that I'm saying that with so much affection. Like, I don't mean that pejoratively, I mean that as like a descriptor, because these books I do think have an intent to titillate. That is a part of what they are doing. I mostly find that more comedic than truly titillating, but yeah, some of these can be genuinely kind of sexy, whatever. And the thing that I realized in filming this entire project is that the mood or the itch that these books scratch for me is the same itch as fan fiction scratches, which is it's just like a distillation of characters and tropes. There's not usually something super challenging in these books in terms of complicated character dynamics or like really deep characterization or whatever. Like, these are really books that are fan fiction of character types. So it's not fan fiction of like Lizzie and Darcy, right? Like, though that definitely exists, and I did read some of those in the course of the last couple of months, but it's the type. So it's like the protective alpha, the too stupid to live virgin. So it's like you're putting them together, and then you have a well-worn trope. So like little sister of your best friend, you put those together. Like, I know how the story is gonna go, but it is just like the distillation of all of these pieces delivered in their purest form, and they're just fun and crazy. Like, that's sort of the spirit with which I engage these kinds of books. And again, I don't mean any of this pejoratively, because I think that that's a completely valid type of art or a completely valid thing to enjoy. I've often heard these books described as like being very focused on your id, and I think that's a good way to describe it. Like, it's not going to require a lot of challenging me wrestling with big themes or me like seeing a trope completely subverted or whatever. There are moments of that in some of these, and those are often the ones in terms of quality that are a little bit better, but I don't think that we have to judge things as being bad just because they're pulpy. Like, I think that there's a good bad value judgment associated with some of the stuff that I don't love, and I guess part of why I did this whole thing was just to say like, hey, my brand here on BookTube is, you know, an overthinker, somebody who reads classics, someone who reads a lot of different things and like is very analytical about them, and I enjoy pulpy fiction. Like, I think pulpy fiction is fun, and I don't want people to feel like they have to apologize for the fact that that's something that they read or a part of what they read. You do you. Like, just enjoy it. It's fun. So with all that being said, let me throw you to the vlog / just mini reviews, and then we'll meet back briefly to wrap things up. Hey guys, I have been supposed to be updating you on my smutty in between reading, and I have totally been failing at this. I just remembered I was supposed to be doing that. I read something smutty yesterday that I'm going to tell you about, and I'm going to try to remember if there's been anything else recently that I would fall into this category. But yesterday I read a book, a novella from Kindle Unlimited called Stocking Stuffers by Erin McLellan, and this was recommended to me from Aria at Smart Bitches Trashy Books, and she highlighted it as like very sex positive, like very casually queer Christmas novella, which I'm like way into. So this was really fun. I think I really liked all the elements of this more than I liked the actual romance, sadly, because the elements were awesome. Like, it was snowed in together deal at a bed and breakfast, and the gal is a sex toy marketer. She and her best friend have like a entire line of sex toys. like marketed to women, but then like they also have like, I think basically like fleshlights, and then like there's a P-spot massager. And like this was a little, like I would call this like had some light kink, but it was not bondagey really. Like it didn't have those like BDSM vibes, because I don't really like that. It was more just that it was super sex positive, and the heroine was bisexual. There were lesbian couples well incorporated into the story, so it was very casually queer. I thought that was great. But the actual like chemistry between the two leads I didn't think was the best, so I ended up giving this one 3 stars. But it was really cute. Like she, I think, got stood up at the altar on Christmas the previous year, or a couple of years ago, so she's sort of a Scrooge and he loves Christmas, and they get snowed into this little inn together and, you know, have some sex toy fun together. So it was cute. Not the best one I've ever read, but I would recommend it. Other smut I've read recently. Oh, see, this is why I need to start doing this, because I literally, like, it just evaporates from my mind within 2 days of reading it. Anything else recently that would qualify? I mean, I read some Shannon Stacy novellas, but those aren't, I don't feel like those are really in the smut category. Like, they're kind of, her novellas are on the borderline, but I think they have a little too much plot. So I don't know if they really qualify. Anyway, I'm gonna try to be better about remembering to let you guys know when I encounter these things. But yeah, that is a smutty update for you. Hola, friends. I'm remembering to check in with you guys. Aren't you proud? So smut update is that... Oh man, okay. What all do I have to talk to you about? So first of all, I read something I thought was going to be smutty and turned out not really to be smutty, but it's actually just like a pretty decent speculative romance. Like it's a sci-fi romance. And I should have known this because the first one I read from this author was also like pretty good. Not just like pure smut really. And that was Pulling His Tail. Forget the author's first name, but I definitely remember the last name is Cummings because... Cummings. Anyway, but it was actually like really, it was a pretty good marriage of convenience type sci-fi romance. I've found that I quite like the mail order bride, alien plus human trope. It is usually kind of a metaphor for intercultural romance, which, yeah, it's interesting. So that wasn't as smutty as I'd hoped. I did read, though, today something called The Billionaire Bride. I don't even remember the name of this author, but this is an ebook I have had on my Kindle for probably 6 years, and it wasn't very good. It was sort of, the motivations of the characters were all over the place, and it was the quality level of smut without enough actual smut to it. So, a little bit of a strikeout. I feel like maybe I'm gonna have to go reread some Alexa Riley to get some smut in, because those are just such dumb fun. But anyway, thought I would give you an update on my attempts, at least, to read smut, even if they were not wholly successful. Oh, wait, no. Okay, I'm gonna have to insert the picture here because I literally cannot remember anything else about this. Another attempt to read, but I had to DNF it because it was terrible, was this paranormal romance with a shifter thing, and it was so terribly written, but not in a fun way, just in a like, oh, this is painful kind of way. It was bad. I had to DNF it, but I got it for free, so whatever, but... That was another aborted attempt at smut reading. So that was the other one I wanted to tell you guys about. Hey guys, time for a smut date. Okay, so I listened to Alexa Riley's Wanting My Stepsister, and it was very smutty. I do like the way Alexa Riley does smut because there's usually a pretty good wink to the audience. This one didn't have enough wink, to be honest, for my taste, so it was okay. I'd give it like a 2.5, maybe a 3. It was fine. The truly great Alexa Rileys have like some true next level crazy sauce. Like, for those of you who read Back River Quiver, you know. Like, you know. If you've read that book, you know what Alexa Riley can serve to you. So this was not that, and therefore, not my favorite, but it was fine. I got it for free on Read Me Romance, so that was nice. I think that's all I have to say about that one. So I will update you guys, and then next time I have some smut to tell you about. Guys, I had been starting to despair that I was never going to be able to give you guys a good review of smut. Like, I was worried that the well had run dry, so to speak, because I keep picking things up and they keep not being good, which is why I keep forgetting to tell you about them. The most recent one I can remember, KODIAK'S Claim, I think is what it was called, by Eve Langlais. And it was not good. I've liked some things from her in the past, some like paranormal shifter shit, and this one wasn't good. But I just picked up, what is it called? Wearing Him Down by Jessa Kane. And guys, my crazy sauce is back. I think Jessa Kane has collaborated in the past with Alexa Riley, so that should have tipped me off that this was going to be some good crazy shit. Okay, so the reason that this is crazy and so much fun is this girl's such a fucking idiot. She is living with her stepbrother. She is 18. I will say that's a thing often in Alexa Riley, and I think also in Jessa Kane, inappropriate age discrepancies, but like, this is the crazy sauce world you're entering, so you just gotta kind of let that go. This girl's 18. She's living with her stepbrother. She's in love with him / attracted to him. Doesn't think that he's in love with her or is attracted to her. Okay. Well, there's hints first that are subtly dropped about, like, he doesn't want any other men around her. He calls her his princess. And then we get to this point where apparently they have a nightly ritual where they hug. And she starts describing the fact that over the last few weeks, she started adding elements to this hug. Sorry, it's just such a fucking idiot, and I love it. She started adding elements to this hug, including wrapping her legs around his waist. He has started, like, feeling up her ass, and she's like, oh, and, now he has a boner, basically, every time. It's like, okay, I don't know what other signal you really need here. That your feelings are very much reciprocated. Guys, I'm happy. I found some crazy sauce. That's what I really like in these kinds of books, is when they're dumb and I can just laugh at them like I love. It's just good brain candy. It's been a long week. It's been a real long week. And I'm enjoying just laughing at this moron. And maybe I'm going to try some more Jessa Kane, so stay tuned. Hello, folks. I'm about to make some coffee, and then I'm going to be doing some filming. So that's why I look like a human for this little clip. So I've been leaning in to the Jessa Kane of it all, and I realized that I've actually read a few of her things in the past, but Wearing Him Down had such a nice level of crazy sauce that, like, I've been reevaluating her work. So I moved on to the, oh god, what was it even called? The MOBSTER'S MASSEUSE. I will say that one thing, and when I was looking through what her actual backlist is, sorry, this is gonna be awkward because I'm getting my pour over out of dishwasher. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So one thing that I've noticed is that all of her stuff does tend to have like a problematic element to it, in terms of there's a lot of sort of like taboo things in her books. Like there's a lot of like daddy stuff. Not my favorite, but if it's handled as crazy, like as a crazy sauce element, I can get down with it. And Wearing Him Down definitely had that, and that was a delight. MOBSTER'S MASSEUSE had sort of like he's a mobster, so he like literally kills people. And that one was like more of a problem for me than, oh, kink play, whatever. Like people should do what they like, as long as everyone's legal and it's consensual. So the fact that he actually kills people and like kills people for her was more of a barrier to me, and it was slightly less crazy sauce. I will say both of these books though did have a nice acknowledgement of like money being something that the women need to be able to like freely choose the crazy guy involved. I don't know. I've been liking this better than I've been liking a lot of my smut recently. Sorry, my water's boiling. So anyway, I'll just wrap this up and tell you that liked, didn't love it. Wearing Him Down is definitely my favorite crazy sauce thing I've read in a while, so for whatever that tells you. Hey guys, so checking in because I think has been a little while since I have updated you on my smut vlogging project, and I've been taking some notes so that I remember them and can talk to you about them, and I have several to go over. So first of all, I will say that I read a trio of Christmas related ones. By the way, if you can't tell, Christmas tree. It's the Christmas season. So I've been reading more Christmassy related things in general, and then there's specifically some like kind of short smutty things that I thought fell into that category. So I read a trio of books from Jana Aston. The first one is called The Boss Who Stole Christmas, which was the one I definitely liked the best. And then there was If You Give a Jerk a Gingerbread, which was probably my second favorite. And then the worst definitely was The One Night Stand Before Christmas. If you can't tell, they're all Christmassy related, and they all involve a trio of sisters who live in this little like super Christmas touristy kind of town, and they were all fun. The writing wasn't the strongest, and it was sad because I think in the first one, if the writing had been better, it could have maybe gotten to be like a 4-star kind of book, because I really like the idea of it. It was a disdain / enemies to lovers kind of thing, with the guy being the girl's boss, and he takes her on a work trip to Germany, and they go to the Christmas markets, and there's like some very like swoony little scenes in there, but the writing, like I said, I thought was a little all over the place. The second one, the writing was better, but the story wasn't as strong, and it was like a reality competition show is in the little town, and it's on like the Food Network, and it's a great, I think it's called the Great Gingerbread Bake Off, and the hero is like a famous chef, baker. So that was cute. And then the last one was definitely the worst one. It was like this weird one-night stand thing, and also a miscommunication about identity. That one I didn't like so much, but the first two I thought were worth reading. So I read that. Then I listened to technically 3 things on the Read Me Romance podcast that I quite enjoyed. 2 of these I actually think were really pretty darn good. So the first one was Dr. Dave by Abby Knox. And the reason I like this was it was just a different premise than I've really heard in one of these kind of stories before, which is the dude has a call-in radio show. He is Dr. Dave, and it's like love advice. The heroine calls in, and there's a connection, and love blossoms from there. So I actually thought that was pretty darn cute. I liked that one. I then tried one from her in like a series related to a school, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a sugar daddy kind of situation, and that I wasn't so into. But anyway, I like Dr. Dave. Then I read I listened to Adrian by Ella Fox and Rochelle Paige. I really liked that one, actually. It was a Hollywood actor runs into his dog walker and immediately like insta-love situation, but I just thought it was well executed. I read another one in that series called GAGE after reading Adrian, and it was good, but not as good, but I would try more in that series. I thought it was pretty solid. And then what else? Good Lord. I got through some ones. Winter's Captive from Millie Taiden was the other one on the Read Me Romance podcast. I actually quite like Millie Taiden for this kind of quick, smutty, Kindle Unlimited kind of thing. She's a paranormal author I quite like. And Winter's Captive, I don't know that the romance was that great, but I liked the overall story pretty well. There was like a girl who's on the way to her cousin's wedding. She gets kidnapped because the guy thinks she is the one getting married, and he's trying to get revenge on this guy, but turns out she is his fated mate. He's a werewolf. Shenanigans ensue from there. So actually, I liked the plot of that one, even if I didn't like the romance as much. So that was pretty good. And then, I've been on an Ella Goode kick, even though none of these are that good. This is a great example of ones where I'm like, not a one of these is more than 2 stars, and actually one of them probably should be 1 star, but they're just dumb and fun, and I kind of like them. So Oh Snowy Night is a hermit guy. The heroine gets stuck in a snowstorm with him. Love ensues. Priceless was the heroine is a artisanal jeweler, and the hero is trying to get a piece of jewelry for his mom. Insta love, tries to win her over. It was kind of dumb, but it was fun. Loyalty Card was the one where I was like, this is probably 1 star, because it's basically like, it's called Loyalty Card because like they meet through the girl's loyalty card number at the store being her phone number. He overhears and memorizes and then like stalks her, basically. The problem with this one is that at the ending, there's like this weird plot with girls who are being trafficked. And I was just like, this is not the right book for that kind of a plot. Like, I just don't feel like that was a great choice. That was just not a choice I would have made, and I think it was tonally inappropriate. I felt kind of similarly to the way I felt about the MOBSTE'S MASSEUSE, where I was just like, I think that you're opening up issues in this that this kind of book just can't sustain. So like, that was just probably not the best choice. So anyway, that is the update through the end of the year mostly, or through Christmas mostly, of what I've read. I'm sure I will read some more here over the holiday break because this is sort of my like super mood reading time of the year. So I often just get kind of in the mood for light, fun stuff, but at least I'm caught up as of now. So good job me. Hey, so I think it's time that I start wrapping this bad boy up. And I've realized that I think that this basically has turned into me like giving you mini reviews rather than vlogging. So I don't know what this video is gonna end up looking like. It may be kind of a mess, but you know, I'm kind of a mess. So there you go. So I do have like another little sheets worth of some short smut. Some of them were good and some of them were terrible. So his Forbidden Obsession by Jessa Kane was one of the most crazy sauce, insanity things that I have ever put into my eyeballs, and it was awesome. I loved it. I don't even know how to describe this. Let me just start by saying I don't know what time this is meant to be set in or what world, because it involves a nun and a knight, but they're also on like a bus at some point, so I don't know. But there's this girl who's been given to these nuns for protection, and they're like under siege or something, and the knight is protecting her. And I know you're gonna be shocked to hear this, but like, he's way into her. There's like insta love, and they get it on, and you know, hijinks ensue. It was so weird and so crazy, and I thought it was great. So I loved how just bananas that one was. And then I read two, actually now I've read three from, well, I've read three and I DNF'd one. Three from a new author named Mink, who I'm way into. I think I mentioned this in my December wrap up. Two that I read from her that I really liked were Snow Angel. That's definitely my favorite one so far. It was also one of the Read Me Romance podcast books. But I read it before it was on there. So anyway, I thought that one was actually genuinely like a good contemporary romance. It wasn't like, it did have the sort of smutty fan fiction-y quality that I've kind of been able to name through this process that I like in these kinds of books. It did have that, like it was kind of crazy, but it was fun. And I liked the character. Yeah, I thought it was genuinely like very enjoyable. Hitman's Prey is also good, but like he's a murderer. I mean, he's a hitman and he like viciously murders people on Paige. And I just struggle with that. We talked about this earlier with, what was that Jessa Kane one we talked about? I struggle with the murderiness. And that, so like I gave Snow Angel 4 stars. I gave Hitman's Prey 3.5. And then I gave his Virgin Queen 3 because it's another mobster book, but I liked it. And it all takes place on one wedding day, and she's supposed to be marrying this one mob guy, and then homeboy comes in and murders him and steals her away, and she marries him that day instead. Yeah, so it was a lot. So I gave that one 3. And then I DNF'd, I think it was called His Deadly Darling, because I just was not feeling the characters, and it just wasn't like, apparently she's a murderer. I don't know. There seems to be an escalating level of violence in Mink's books, so I'm gonna be interested to see where their career progresses. But overall, a new author that I did enjoy. So yeah, I like that. 2 Christmas novella-y things that I read and liked pretty well were Slaying Mr. Right, which I preferred to the second one I read, which was His Sugar Plum. Yeah, just sort of like, honestly pretty standard Christmas novella-y kind of things. Slaying Mr. Right was fun because it was like a Christmas tree farmer and this woman who falls for him. I thought that was cute. His Sugar Plum, I think he like wins her in a poker game. That one wasn't as good, but it, you know, it got the job done. It hit the spot of sort of just trope-tasticness. Let's see, Pound of Flesh. I don't remember anything about this one. It was Jessa Kane, and I remember it was terrible. Like, that's all I remember, was that it was real bad. And I think it was the first book she wrote, so that's not surprising, but like, that one was awful. I think it was like problematic, but it didn't have any of the crazy sauce, like light fun with it to make it work. So I didn't like that. Let's see, what else? Oh, Love on the Line. So there's been a couple of Lucy Darling books that I read. So I read Love on the Line, and then I read Meant to Love, and the other one, I forget. I read all 3, and actually I like Lucy Darling, it turns out. So this is one that Kindle Unlimited just sort of recommended to me. The cover looked like the kind of these books that I tend to like. It kind of looks like an Alexa Riley, Ella Goode, Jessa Kane, like that whole little group. It looked like one of those covers, so I gave it a try. And I particularly did like Love on the Line. The setup was that the girl is she works for a collections agency, and the hero's sister has a plot for her to call him to try to collect things, and he instantly, you know, gets hard as granite as soon as he hears her voice and knows, like, here she is. This is my one true love / person I'm gonna fuck forever. So I just thought that was cute. And the other 2, one of them was like best friend's little sister who he's been in love with forever. She's finally turning 18. I will say that this is a theme in a lot of these of very young heroines, and if I think about it too much, I don't like it. These are books that are not meant to make you think. This is a very id-driven delivery system of just tropes. So anyway, she turns 18 and he finally can make his move, so he does, and that one was good. And then the other one was she gets hired to kind of be his assistant, and he instantly falls in love with her. I know you're shocked, and they get together. So I've liked all three of the ones I've read from Lucy Darling. So I think her and Mink, I would say, are the two ones that I've like found in the last few months that I've really enjoyed, whilst I'm waiting for Alexa Riley to finally get whatever their situation is settled so that I can get back to having that kind of just like fun, campy craziness. Jessa Kane, I would also say, has been like a rediscovery for me in the last couple of months of just like how bananas those books are. Like they're not good, but they're so crazy that there's something fun about them that I do enjoy when I'm in that kind of mood. I would say overall, I've read a lot of these kinds of things recently. My Kindle Unlimited subscription I'm gonna let lapse here in the next, actually tomorrow I guess it's gonna lapse. So I kind of have read a lot of the ones that I had in my wish list that I'd been building up, and I'll wait until I can find a deal for a 99-cent or like 1.99 a month membership, and when that happens I'll re-up and maybe I'll do another one of these if you guys enjoy. But I think for now, that's most of what I've been reading smut-wise recently. Sorry guys, I did forget to mention too that I did want to shout out. One was His Outlaw Valentine by Jessa Kane, which was truly bananas, and I loved it. Like, I think that was one of the best Jessa Kane crazy pants stalking, but she's into it, like the Daimler Dauber phenomenon. That one was great. Perfect, crazy. And then I actually really genuinely loved When She's Married by Ruby Dixon. I just really like Ruby Dixon. She has like these space barbarian sci-fi romances that can sometimes be over the top and I heard myself saying that. Let me walk that back. Are over the top and crazy in some ways, but I think are often infused with genuine emotion and like genuine pathos. And I thought When She's Married was really, really good. In terms of the main character, she was taking the realities of the world she set up, where human women are basically like property in space. Like, we're considered to be a lesser species, so we're kind of treated as like sex slave pets. But there's this one planet where some human women have found refuge because the lord of the planet is married to a human. He fell in love with her, and so they are trying to survive on this planet. But if they do not have a husband, they're like very susceptible to having people basically like rape them or like force them to get married so that they can get their land from them. So it's this little series has been about women like getting into marriages of convenience with different aliens, males, who have a reason why they also need to kind of secure their citizenship status or whatever. So it's a very intense setup, and in previous books they've been good, but they haven't like fully gone there in terms of like how horrifying the situation is. And actually When She's Married is really wrestling with those implications in a way that I liked. There is a plot hole here because the lord of the planet, why does he not just like viciously crack down on this behavior? I don't know. He's shown up in other books and like rescued the human women. So like, I don't know why he's not cracking down on this, but I did appreciate it as a book that like went there emotionally, or like went there with fleshing out the reality of the world or the situation that's been set up. So it made me cry because I think her name was Piper. She was like trying to maintain some level of agency in a situation where she basically has like lost most of her options. So anyway, I wanted to mention that one because I thought it was genuinely like really good, and I really like Ruby Dixon a lot. Editing me checking in because I am clearly remiss in not also mentioning the fact that in this world the alien peens have like, well, first of all, they're huge. All of the peens in these books are ginormous, and considering how much sex is had, these poor women would be like, I think, crippled. Like, it's permanently handicapped if they were having this much sex with these gigantic eggplants all the time. But also, these alien peens have what is called a spur right above the gigantic peen, and it's basically like having sex with a blue alien with a rabbit vibrator for an eggplant. So it's a lot. I think I failed to mention that as a part of the crazy sauce setup, and I feel like that's a detail you should have. Anyway, I think that is now it, so I will throw you back for a wrap up. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully it wasn't too messy. I haven't finished editing the vlogging pieces of it yet, but I do think I really learned something about what kind of mood I'm in when I read these books. And it, you know, I genuinely, as I think you saw, if I don't write down which ones they are, I forget them. Like, they're not memorable to me, but I enjoy them and they're a good palate cleanser. They're something I, you know, find very cozy basically to read. And I think by forcing myself to talk to you guys about them, I learned more about what it is that I get out of reading these, which is very much scratching that fanfic itch, very, you know, unchallenging stories that are just fun, light. I know kind of what's gonna happen in them and they just are fun for me to read. Like, that's the word I keep coming back to, is fun. This is my fun reading. This is the equivalent of the reading version of like TikTok maybe, or the reading version of like some very light TV. Maybe I think it kind of scratches some of the same itches as like daytime TV or like telenovelas, like, oh, scandalo. Like, it's that kind of just like, yum, 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 light, fun nonsense. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what some of your personal palate cleansing kind of books are to read. It might not be these sort of like smutty romances. Maybe it's like certain kinds of pulpy mysteries or pulpy fantasy, whatever. Let me know what you read truly for fun in the comments down below. And I think that that will do it. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. And I think that that will do it. I hope you are having an absolutely lovely day today. And I will just talk to you soon. Bye.